Hi, how are you? No. If I don't knock over the camera here.
asked if I could take the notes, so you said no, you have to wait until it's specific right now.
That's what I was worried. Look at this one. I'm supposed to take one right around. Because it's switched on now. How can I plug it up?
Sorry, excuse me, could I possibly just have your attention? We are running a bit behind at the moment by about 10 minutes because we're waiting on Dr. Raymond Patel to arrive. So apologies for that. We are in contact with him and I'll keep you updated. Thank you.
Work your way up now. Then point it to that. Then take this wire. Just the back part of the wire. It's at the airport. It's coming. It's coming. 5 minutes.
Good afternoon, guests. I am Emil Prince, and I have the pleasure of being your Master of Ceremony for this launch. I've got to get this right. The launch of the Dentistry Video Conferencing Learning and Teaching Program. We are pleased to have in attendance here today is our Rector, Professor Tyrone Pretorius, and his deputies, Prof. Levac, Prof. Franz, and Prof. Dube. And then we also have in attendance here the Dean of our faculty, Prof. Osmond, Dr. Patel from Department of Health, and then we also have those from other stakeholders, the Department of Education, Higher Education as well. I've had to concentrate quite a lot because I have to watch my words very carefully because The rector will do the welcome, and on the one day I don't wear my gold tie, the rector and the dean of the faculty has got their gold ties on, so I had to break with tradition somewhere. So we've got quite a busy program. Dr. Patel, Raymond Patel is on his way. He should be any time soon. So what I will do is that I will ask the rector to come forward and to do the formal welcome.
We will remind Dr. Patel when he walks in, and remind me to tell him what happened in East London when the new ANC deputy president says, "This is it, we start on time." Now, Dr. Patel, I think, is still trapped in the old regime. So we'll bring him around to the new one. By virtue of my position, I always get the speech that says welcome. And then I think to myself, welcome. Isn't that what I'm just supposed to do? Welcome. But let me also, in addition to the ones Dr. Prince recognized, let me also recognize our registrar in attendance, the two of our fellow deans who is on a spying mission here today, Prof. Kobus Visser from Economic and Management Sciences, and Prof. Michael Davies Coleman. All of my colleagues from ICS under the leadership of Raymond Crown, and then all of my colleagues from Advancement under the leadership of Patricia Lawrence. I'm sorry, 4 deans. I just saw the other 2, Prof. Roda and Prof. Nomlomo. I'm sure Prof. Roda is here on a spying mission because, as you know, all of our health sciences will be relocated to the Belleville Medical Center. What is the new name of that building?
It's the Belleville campus.
The Belleville campus of UWC. When it comes to digital involvement and digital knowledge, they say there are 3 types. There's the digital dinosaurs who has no clue about technology and the digital world, and they actively resist getting involved. Sadly, I've discovered there's 1 or 2 of my colleagues that still don't know how to access their emails. And they don't even have emails either on a tablet or on their phone. Then you have the digital immigrants. These are the people that are beginning to migrate to everything that technology and the digital world has to offer. And then you have the digital experts. I suspect there's not many of them in this room. But they are the youngsters. They are the ones that are born into all of the technological opportunities offered in this age. I call myself a digital dinosaur. I'm very, very slow in migrating. But while I'm a digital dinosaur, I find myself equally excited by research innovation and by teaching innovation. What we're seeing today is what the industry experts called disruptive innovation. This is disruptive innovation. And we've seen over the years how technological disruption has profoundly changed our world, our industries, our company, and the way in which the world do business. The best example that I can think of is Kodak. In 1998, Kodak was the 4th largest company in the world. It basically had a monopoly on, how many of you remember those old films that you had to put into the camera? They basically had a monopoly on that. They basically had a monopoly on the photo paper. And cameras, obviously, but the old-fashioned cameras were the films. In 1983, in 1998, they were the fourth biggest company. But a little known fact is that in 1993, they were actually offered the digital opportunity. And apparently, some of the decision makers says, nah, man, this is a fad. This will never impact on our world as Kodak. And look at Kodak today. Small company, basically having to migrate to digital after the fact. Dr. Patel, they asked me to convey something, but I'll do that later. It's about the winds of change. Back to disruptive innovation. Look at Uber and Airbnb, and look at the disruption that they are causing, both in the taxi industry as well as in the hospitality industry. Do you know that by 2020, that's in less than 3 years' time, that self-drive cars will become the norm? Think about the disruption that that would have. We won't have these guys at the traffic lights anymore. The tow trucks, we won't have them anymore, because accidents will go down by 10,000%. Think of the insurance industry. They would be going bankrupt. Think of 3D printing. What happens to our manufacturing industry when most things these days can actually be 3D printed? My previous university, Monash, in December, produced the first 3D printed jet engine, working jet engine. The list is endless. My welcome to you today is to say universities has a role and a responsibility to be the driving force behind disruption. What we're seeing at the moment is that universities are passive recipients of innovation. But innovation in its proper form should be driven by universities. If you look at the research, the discovery of new knowledge and new solutions, research is the ultimate disruptor of our world. I'm told that there are IBM Watson. I've just read about it. I don't know what it is. But IBM Watson is able to provide you with legal advice, for example, that the experts say is 100% better than you can get from your own attorney. And you don't even have to drive to see IBM Watson. IBM Watson is able to diagnose diseases with almost 100% accuracy. Research is the ultimate potential disruptor, Prof. Coleman. Similarly, with respect to education, with respect to teaching and learning, universities need to lead the way with disruptive innovations. For in that disruptive innovations, what we will see today is the promise of a better education for our students. And it is that for that reasons that I, as a digital dinosaur, welcome you to this innovation which will profoundly disrupt the way in which the dentistry faculty is going to deliver better quality education for its students. Thank you, and welcome.
Thank you very much, Prof. Pretorius. I feel a lot calmer now because now I can say welcome as much as I want to, because it really takes a lot of concentration not to say welcome. Our next speaker is no stranger to us either. It's Prof. Vivian Levak, who's DVC for academic. So I welcome you to address the gathering here. Thank you.
You know, the lovely thing is when someone doesn't stick to a brief, like the rector's just done, because he was just supposed to say welcome. So he's taken all the benefits of digitization and digital disruption out of my speech, which means that I have a few things to say to add to what is said. But thank you very much for providing the context, Rector. Maybe just a bit of background. Some of you might have remembered that one of the things that we started really engaging with in 2015 through focus groups, and I made the people very tired through all these breakaways, etc., was really about thinking through what would it mean to get UWC to be a university fit for the digital age. And to make that, when we talk in the IOP about digital connectedness, what does it mean in relation to the different kind of portfolios that we have, and especially the three core functions of the university around learning and teaching, research and engagement. And of course, within all of those, the rector quite correctly mentioned the fact that innovation is key. And in thinking through what would it mean, we realized that sometimes you have good intentions, like we just wanted something around the digital connection here. Those of you, Yusuf, when we spoke, I think it was in 2015, 2018, 2016, might have been late in 2015. And it was really around initially, the fact that about 1 million was spent that year on transport between our Tygerberg campus and our Mitchells Plain campus. So the initial idea was, how do we, through digital means, connect our staff and our students, and hopefully also do something that will keep money Regal a bit happy so that we could save a bit of money, the initial idea. But, you know, with all the things that happened during Fees Must Fall, 2015 and 2016, one of the things that we realized was that sometimes you have these kind of events and you have to show adaptive expertise in the end. We always sometimes think that we require that of our students, but also think differently about the way in which we work, the way in which we approach learning and teaching, of which the focus is now on learning. And the beauty of this project, and I'm sure Raymond, we're sitting at the back still, Dr. Patel, how are you? How's your arm feeling? Your arm all right? I'm asking that because of all the arm twisting I did with Raymond at the time. To say that this is an opportunity, it's not something that Mercita normally sponsors, but this is opportunity to look at dentistry in this case, but to see how one could use digital conferencing and see what were the other kinds of benefits that could be built into it. And lo and behold, 2015, 2016 Fees Must Fall opened our eyes to new opportunities and not only the negative things that we would like to associate to that. So during that time, the scope of this project expanded because we realized that it was a risk to have the face-to-face with the students, but we still wanted to have the interaction between the staff and the students. And because dentistry has clinical education embedded in its curriculum, we needed to make sure that the clinical scenarios which are linked in the curriculum, that one could still have that component, and what would be the possibility of actually looking at what the digital could present. So then this was then used to expand to engage our distant students, this is interesting, that come in for 3 days a week every semester for the postgraduate diploma in dentistry. And this then resulted in the faculty drafting a course called Digital Dentistry, which we hope to offer from 2019. But it didn't stay there. There was a discussion with the Vice Rector from Bergen University, and the Vice Rector is an oral pathologist, and she was going to return to her home department in 2018. And she informed us that Bergen University was going to link up with countries in Eastern Europe as regards their oral pathology updates. And we found we had the clinical cases, and Bergen had many more oral pathologists, and a link up to them could be mutually beneficial to the faculty. In addition, both Bergen and UWC have links with the University of Science and Technology in Sudan, and it was felt that this would be an opportune time to explore the collaboration as regards our WHO mandate to train the trainers. And of course, this links with the other cross-cutting theme in our IOP, which is around internationalization and the possibility of international linkages for clinical disciplines. But the most important part, what started off as maybe just on the digital connected side, has the true potential to be embedded in a new way of thinking through our learning and teaching. And I said to the dean that maybe it's not just for dentistry in the end, but for now for dentistry. But for dentistry it makes, and I'm looking at our former deputy dean over here, it makes tele-dentistry a reality. And that I find very, very exciting because it absolutely dovetails with the disruptive technologies that the rector has spoken about, but to see the digital more as the opportunity that it would be able to present instead of it being the scary thing that one would want to stay away from. So maybe in conclusion, Dr. Patel, I hope that the arms can still be twisted for, he's telling me it's closed, but I'm looking at CHS, but maybe it's a conversation that one could have. Thank you very much. We are very excited. We will be watching what is happening. Please reflect and be reflective practitioners as you are using this technology, because what really is embedded in our strategy around the digital is the fact that we learn with technology, and it's not the other way around. It's not the technology that drives our learning, but that it becomes an enabler of our learning. And I think that is what I would like you to explore. And as you do that, write it up. DBC Research would be very happy. Reflect on that. And who knows, let's lead the way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Levak. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Raymond Patel to come forward to address the audience. Dr. Raymond Patel is an alumnus. He is also Deputy Chair of the University Council, and he is also CEO of Mercer. And it's in that capacity, and it's in that capacity that he will address us now. Please, Dr. Patel, come forward. You look hydrated because you come from an area where there's water. Thank you very much.
I've been in Cape Town for 2 days.
Have you been in Cape Town? I hope you've stuck to the 87 liters.
Conflict of interest, let's start off with that. I'm a member of council and also been arm twisted. So I hope the media is not here to report on that. Just see Mercita as a sponsor today. I'm trying to see if my office is here. She beat me to it. I got lost. I went into the Stellenbosch faculty. You know, I must be honest. We left the office together, and I said to her, no, I know exactly where it is. Don't worry. I had my tooth done there a couple of years ago. And then I turned into Stellenbosch, and then I fought with the security. I said, maar julle is so dom. Wie nie was Western Cape, and there's a groot difference met Stellenbosch. The guy said, as jy laat is nie my probleem. So it didn't help me much. But nonetheless, it's still an honor and a pleasure. I first used this facility as a student in the year of our gracious Lord, 1980. And that filling still remains in my mouth, Professor. I think I related the story to you. It was a student and a friend of mine, Dr. Boris Wilkinson, may his soul rest in peace, who did that filling for me. So I'd always had faith in this institution. So, Professor Levak, it wasn't much arm twisting. I can tell you, you just had to pull my finger, and I was there. But if you need any more arm twisting, I have 2 months left in my current job, and then I'm not in this job anymore. For the Mercita, why did we embrace this? I think it's a misnomer, and CETAs try and stay away from their responsibility that we work within a manufacturing space and therefore we won't touch a medical space. It's escaping your responsibility as a corporate citizen of this country. When this opportunity came our way, I did not say it belonged to the health and welfare sector. I simply saw an opportunity to expand the sector in which I work, the manufacturing and engineering sector. So what happens there is that the machinery you use, we use it. Now, taking this topic to a different level of the involvement of SETAs, if a person goes to eat out, she might say that it belongs to the CAT SETA, which is the entertainment SETA, and the other one would say the food and bev SETA. But if you take that beer that you are buying, sorry, Professor Osman, the top is made of metal. It's manufacturing SETA. The glass is another substance. It comes from the chemical SETA. The student that provides the food, agricultural SETA. So we must stop that and look at how, as a citizenry, we contribute to the improvement and development of this country. I'm going to learn another one, Professor Pretorius, as you said to me. The Deputy President says, or the President of the ANC now, make sure that everybody's on time. I want to do something this year for myself. Stop engaging in too many meetings. I had a management meeting in my office with a team out in Johannesburg, which was supposed to stop at 11, only stopped at 11:45. So I'm going to cut that out to make sure I'm in time for the next meeting. As the MERSETA, we are the manufacturing-related services SETA, but we are a proud partner of the University of the Western Cape. And this is not the only program that we're involved in. We started off to Professor Davis Coleman's involvement and getting us to look at science and maths graduates. And we realized that there's not enough of them. And the failure rate is very high. So we introduced a tutor program where we would sponsor tutors and to improve their training so that we get more graduates out there. We then continued and we looked at the master's and PhD program in education and in particular in maths and science. We entered into this program after Professor Levac told me, looking at Mitchell's Plain, looking at this institution, looking at where students sit, and we said MERSETA believes in supporting innovation, leading into cutting-edge technology. Professor Pretorius, we simply call it, we're the Uber of education. That's the disruption we've got to bring in. We cannot expect our students to embrace technology, to embrace innovation, but without providing it. And therefore, as MERSETA, we're a proud partner of UWC in this thing. Our partnership with UWC started in 2016 on video conferencing technology used in teaching of university dentistry students. We believed in the technology that allows students to be placed in a workplace. Now, I must say this. One of the problems, and I know there's not many business people here, but in other countries, business opens up, surgeries open up to those students. Medicine opens up to our students. In South Africa, it becomes the responsibility of government to provide workplaces. MERSETA, we're currently sitting with about 200 students in China because we can't find them workplaces in South Africa. So I call upon business in this country to begin to open up your workplaces. You have to give students that opportunity to practice their skills. We cannot expect a student to become a graduate and a fully functional graduate without practicing. You have been in that position before as a business person, so allow them to do so. It is not only the responsibility of the SETAs and the universities and government to do so. So it is in that light that we embrace this opportunity to work with you, to make sure that we bring technology between the hospitals and the classrooms. We want to also ensure that this facility allows for live interaction between the theater and the students in the classroom at two centers simultaneously. As Benjamin Franklin once said, tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I may learn. So we want to say, this technology, this innovative technology, that our students would become much more competent. I am wary of the fact that we produce, what did you say, Professor? More than 48% of all the dentists across Africa. Let's do more. Let's try and involve more of our society in this. Masita therefore endeavors to promote innovation that will yield graduates that are up to date and at least and competent with the technology around them. I want to end up by saying it is Albert Einstein who says, the important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. This facility provides a platform for live interaction and to develop better students. Thank you for involving them, Azita.
Thank you very much, Dr. Patel, for that inspirational talk. What we will be doing now is that we will be demonstrating the solution. So I call upon Marcel Witboy. He is the systems engineer for AVT Solutions. So I'm not going to press any buttons because I'm similar to the Rector. So if I press a button here, something's going to go wrong. So I'm going to step to the side and we will be linking up with the video demonstration room now. So,
Okay.
Marcel?
Yep.
Let me shake your hand first and step away.
No problem. Thanks, everybody. So we're going to be just calling into the Perio lab. Prof. Morkel's just going to do a demo, and then we'll link to Mitchell's plane. There is a class on at the moment, and then we'll jump back to the Perio room where they're going to do a little cyst removal, and then we'll try and get hold of Prof. Siddiqui in Australia. Right. Okay. There we go. Hi there.
Hi, Prof.
Hello, everybody.
That's right. Let me just click on that, and then you can. Right, you can go.
Welcome, everybody. Firstly, I would like to introduce some of my patients. This is Marushka. This is Marushka's mom. The mother on the left, obviously, is the most important part of the surgical team, always is. What I'd like to demonstrate today, not just the facility, but perhaps show you a tip of the iceberg, the pinnacle of maxillofacial surgery, and what we do and what we spend the taxpayers' money on. Now, Mariska presented to us with a tumor of the face, and what you can see on the right-hand side is a tumor of the jaw. These tumors, if they're not picked up very early, they grow very slowly and often quite painlessly, and it's like a pregnancy. Unfortunately, up to now, we don't have pregnancy tests for these tumors, so we rely on the good dentist, the general dentist, to help us. So what I'm going to do is quickly take you on a journey and show you what we've done with Mariska and where we're going to go. And then at the end, perhaps just do a quick reveal and show you where we are at the moment. Tumors of the jaw present and they grow inside the jaw and they get bigger and bigger, and then obviously we have to take them out, which means removing the tumor. After we remove the tumor, we have to replace it with either bone or a metal plate. Now you can just imagine having a metal plate in your jaw. It doesn't really work. It doesn't allow you to go through customs and flights, and it's much better to have bone. The problem with bone is if you place bone into a jaw, it's dead bone. And dead bone doesn't really work. Big pieces of dead bone do never work. So what do we have to do? We have to go and harvest bone. And since about 1975, and it's just about the other day, they've realized that one can harvest bone from different parts of the body For example, with Mariska, we managed to get burn from the lower leg, which meant on the left-hand side we can remove the whole fibular bone, reshape this fibular bone into a new mandible, but the most important thing is it needs to be connected to the blood vessels of the neck. So we transfer vital tissue, and that's called free tissue transfers. So what we do is we open up the lower leg, we remove the fibular bone, we reshape this fibular bone into a new mandible. If it's fairly clear for you, while it's still on the lower leg, we shape the mandible. Then we have to connect this mandible with the blood supply to the neck. These operations can vary. They can sometimes anything from 9 to about 13 hours. And we use a two-team approach. After we've placed this piece of fibula into the jaw, we give it a healing time. But then you can wonder, how can I function with a piece of lower leg in my face? And what does it look like? So aesthetics are very important. Secondly, function. Can you eat? Can you drink? Can you speak? Can you smile? Can you kiss? Which is very important. How do we achieve this? What we've got at the faculty and what we're very proud of is a multidisciplinary approach. So once we've done the surgery, we have to get the other teams in. We have to get the prosthodontists in. We've got to get the technicians in. And they assist us. And I'm going to take you on a short journey and just show you what they're capable of doing. First thing is the team. They're not a ghost team. Meet my prosthodontist. I cannot work without them, and I see them every week, and I love them dearly. Thanks, guys. What they do is, after we've placed the bone in the mouth, we can often be presented with something like this, which you can see on the screen. We ask the prosthodontist to make us a dummy fake denture. We transfer that denture into a surgical stent. We then use dental implants, those really expensive implants that we know about that cost piles and piles of money. We go to companies and we ask them, please help us with Mariska. Many of them supply free implants. We place these implants into the fibular bone. We then put real teeth on top of them and we fix it. And they have the whole mouth full with nice crowns and bridges, and it's absolutely fantastic. So let's get back to Mariska, and I'm nearly finished. This is Mariska. Mariska presented with a massive tumor of the lower jaw. And we have to then resect this tumor with at least a centimeter of margin, which leaves you without a joint, without half your jaw. For the next 3 slides, any of you that are sensitive, didn't have a good breakfast, please close your eyes and I'll tell you again to open up. What did we do with Mariska? We had to get to this tumor. So what we do is we zigzag and we open up the whole face to get to this tumor. Because remember, tumors love blood. They're big. They grow up to the base of skull where the brain is, and it's quite hairy. So I hope you're keeping your eyes closed, please. The next thing is it exposes this tumor, and with tumor surgery you have to work around it. So we use microscopes and loupes, and we know from the CT scans exactly where we have to resect the tumor. We mark it. And then, as you can see, I can remove the whole tumor as one piece. And now a person has half a jaw, no joint, and it's right up to the base of skull. Everybody else can open up their eyes now. So what we can see is basically the lower leg that's been put in. The yellow arrow depicts the new joint. And all of you wonder, what does it look like? You know, you've got a piece of lower leg in a patient. You have a piece of bone from the lower leg that's pushed right up into the base of the skull. Can this person, what do they look like? And how do they function? So what I'll do is let's demonstrate Marushka, and we will quickly move and show all of you. This is Marushka. Wow. Isn't that cool? Marushka, smile. Open up. Close. Open up. Close. Marushka, can you eat?
Yes, bro. I can eat, I can drink, I can smile, I can speak, I can do everything with my mouth.
And do you kiss?
Yes, bro.
Can you beam out of it for the mom? Mom, tell us.
Wow, Prof, you did something miraculously and it's very, very pretty.
What did it look like before the time?
Before the time, she looked like somebody, her face looked really skew. Really skew. You could actually see the tumor.
Okay, let's go to the leg. All of you must probably like to know what the leg looks like. Unfortunately, we have to remove the whole fibula, and then obviously the skin part of the lower leg we have to use to drape inside the mouth. So sometimes if you've got a lot of hair, you end up having a little bit of hair inside your mouth, but we can do something about that. And then the next thing you worry about, what about this big piece of bone that's missing? And I'm going to show you just now. Firstly, just to show you quickly what it looks like inside the mouth. And this is part just to demonstrate. We have in the demonstration room, we have a microscope to demonstrate. This is just purely to demonstrate what you guys are seeing there, difficult to clearly see, but that's basically the skin of the lower leg. And that's where we're going to place the new denture. Okay. And then lastly, the issue is, can you switch on? Can Marushka still walk properly? Is she comfortable, Marushka? Can she demo? Let's go to the lower leg. Marushka?
I can move, I can walk normally like a normal person. I can do everything with my leg. It's not broken, it's not fractured. It's like my other leg, but it just has a big scar.
Marushka, the rector promised me he'll sponsor a tattoo for you over the period. So I'll still speak to him about it. But everybody, that's really the whole story. I hope it demonstrated our video conferencing setup, how we can demonstrate these cases. We get patients from all over Africa because these technologies and surgery is not available. So maybe we can perhaps use this facility to educate. So thanks for your time and have a good day further.
Okay, so now we'll switch over to Mitchell's plane. They are in a class, so I'll just get Shane to answer.
So we're going to be linking up with Dr. Jonathan Ziegler. He is lecturing in Crown and Breach, the final year class. Hi, Dr. Ziegler, you are live with the room.
Hi, Dr. Prince, good afternoon.
Hello.
Participants, you are currently listening to a lecture on diagnosis and treatment planning. It is basically presented to the fifth year dental students. It is done here at the Techniques Lab, Mitchell's Plain campus of the faculty. But before I continue, I just want to welcome from the student side, I want to welcome the Rector and Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Taryn Pretorius. Also, Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academics, Professor Vivian Lavat. Dr. Raymond Patel, the Chief Executive Officer of MERCETA, as well as our own Dean, Faculty of Dentistry, Professor Yusuf Osman. As I told you, we were discussing diagnosis and treatment planning in Trana Bridge. It is the Advanced Restorative Technique course, which is basically presented to fifth year dental students. ART 510, like I said, it's done here at the Mitchell's Plain campus of the university. So I will continue. So we talked about periodontal surface area, which is called Henty's law. And like I said, ideally, the periodontal surface area of the abutment teeth should be greater or equal to the periodontal surface of the missing teeth. So when you look at the pictures, you'll see, for instance, in the picture lower left, we have two abutment teeth, roots in yellow, and then you have the missing tooth, yeah, which is the 3-6 pink. Okay, so that tooth we want to replace. So we say the periodontal surface area of the second premolar and the second molar will be greater than the tooth that you are replacing.
Sorry, Dr. Ziegler.
So if you don't have that...
Sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Ziegler. Thank you very much. We're going to be moving away from you now. Thank you very much for that and demonstrating how we can have lectures on one lecturer but at two sites. So thank you very much for that. Give my regards to the final year class and thank you for that. We are now going to switch over to the perio department again.
Just disconnect that call. Just want to make sure that they're ready for the next exam. Okay, they're ready.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. In this case, we are simply going to demonstrate a biopsy procedure. My name is Dr. Bambi and my assistant is J.J. Williams. And I'm a newly qualified periodontist within the faculty. And our patient, Ms. Murray, who is a 15-year-old healthy female, has been kind enough to volunteer to have a biopsy procedure performed for this presentation. So basically, the history about the patient, she is healthy and she presents with a gingival enlargement. And at puberty, at this age, it is common for the hormonal changes to create an environment which is more susceptible to inflammation of our gums. And in her case, the specific area of her gums has enlarged to quite an extent. We treated her a few weeks ago with a general scaling and polishing and improvement of her oral hygiene in order to reduce the amount of inflammation. But the type of lesion that she presents with is quite common at the age of puberty and often may require an excisional biopsy purely for aesthetic reasons and also to ensure that it is benign in nature. Can we set that up so we can just have a look at the actual lesion? So we've injected Ms. Maria already. Just set up that lesion. Okay, Okay, so as you can see here, this is the area of the inflammation. So it looks like a small little tumor, and these type of benign tumors are common during the age of puberty, and especially in females during pregnancy. And they often, in that stage, called pregnancy epilis. And these are growing from between the teeth, and they're often associated with the buildup of plaque, which is the bacteria which builds up around our teeth, and that stimulates the inflammation of the gums. So the patient's gums start to swell up. They will have bleeding when they brush their teeth and floss it. You can see there's some decay developing between some of the front teeth as well. And these are all associated with plaque. In this case, we're just going to simply remove this, and it's quite a short procedure. For those sensitive viewers, you'll be cutting some gum, so you can close your eyes for just about 2 minutes.
Thank you.
It's an immersive experience, guys.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Before you cut, we're going to actually move away from you speedily. Thank you. Okay, dentistry is definitely not for the faint-hearted. So, welcome to our world. Welcome to our world. I think the last one, are we ready?
Yeah, we're just going to dial to Prof. Siddiqui. I'll just let him know to dial in.
Okay, Prof. Siddiqui did his master's here at the University of the Western Cape. He then went to New Zealand and did his PhD, and currently he's in Australia.
Yeah, I'll just wait for him to dial in. So at the moment we connected to a virtual meeting room. So it's a virtual space in the cloud. So we dial in and he would then connect as well to the same cloud. Just wait for his response. Yes, you can. Sorry. Sorry, he's been waiting for quite a while, so let's just see.
Greetings from Australia. Hello everyone. It's Dean Siddiqui here. I'm an ex-student of UWC. I completed my master's in 2008 with cum laude from KKM Department Heidelberg. Then I went to Germany. I completed 2 fellowships, and after that I obtained a PhD from New Zealand. And at present I'm working as a senior lecturer at the Charles Sturt University, New South Wales, Australia. It's always good to be in touch with the parent institution, and lots of love for South Africa. Bye, Danke.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this was just to show that we're connecting throughout the world. There was a bit of issues with the networking, dialing directly in here. It leaves us open to people hacking into your network. So we'll prefer using the VMR. Obviously, everybody will get some lessons on how to use the system. You can also do a standard presentation. So from the VC system, I can just press one button and it actually switches over. I can then use the podium PC over here. So it will give us dual screen. It is a touch screen as well. So if I go out here, I can then use the screen, minimize it, touch whatever. I actually don't need a keyboard and mouse. It pops up at the bottom here. When I need to type in something, it will bring itself up. Then we can do a wireless presentation. So we can connect wirelessly, iPhone, tablet, your laptop even. And then we have physical plugins, HDMI, VGA, and DisplayPort for all the laptops. And your Windows tablets also have DisplayPort on them now. And then we've got the document camera, which people are already liking to use. Got a digital scope. It's got a light on it if you need to present. So teachers could use that. I know they're going back and saying that they never used it before because it became laborious and you had to shuffle paper around, but it actually works quite well now. So you could do a visual spec, not just have a slideshow on there. Right? And then that is the 4 options wirelessly, connecting wirelessly. Okay. Just go to my laptop, and that's my laptop plugged in via HDMI. All right. And then the system does record as well. She is recording. I didn't set the recording for today, but the system actually asks you, do you want to record, yes or no? There is options to go afterwards and press record. And then we'll pull the feed off, get given to the lecturer, and they can then edit their own version, upload it to eCamba. All right. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Close the party bar.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Marcel. We get to the point of the program now where I'm going to call Prof. Levak and Dr. Raymond Patel to come forward, please, for the unveiling of the plaque of the launching of this facility. Thank you very much. I'd like to call on our Dean, Professor Yusuf Osman, just to give a word of thanks.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, like Prof. Pretorius said, maybe it's just to say thank you very much for being here. Where do you start, with something like this? It doesn't happen overnight. It cannot. Prof. Levak said it was 2016 or 2015 when she had this thought of reducing the cost because money was on her back or whatever. But what it's expended to, I mean, there's nothing better than a demonstration. Prof. Mokel, thank you very much for that. Firstly, I'd like to thank Professor Pretorius for his visionary leadership. At all our strategic planning workshops, the word stretch is an important word in his vocabulary, and he keeps pushing us for more and more and more, and I think all the deans will agree with that, so thank you very much for that. Then, Professor Levak, this would never have happened without your intervention, and thank you very much for that. I think, other than twisting Dr. Patel's arm, I think your other interventions as well, and I think that's made it all possible, so thank you very much. Dr. Patel, thank you very much. I know the Mesita is supposed to be for manufacturing, engineering, and related sectors, so this is the related sector, right? That is it, yeah. And you also said that you sponsor physics and maths tuition. But where do those students go? They come to us. They can't come without maths and physics, so thank you very much for that. But a project like this can never be done without anchor people. And the two people I'd like to acknowledge today is Ms. Zondri Dean and Dr. Suraya Hanika. This thing's been coming a long time, right? And I think we should acknowledge contribution to this thing, especially over the Christmas and the New Year period. There was just nobody around, right? So they had to take lots of decisions on their own, and I thank you. I don't want to thank individuals because I run the risk of not mentioning your name or so, and that'll be a serious misdemeanor on my part, and I wouldn't want to do that. Emil Prince, thank you for conducting the ceremony today, and to all of you for coming here today and for assisting us in whatever capacity. All we can say from the faculty is thank you very much. You've opened new doors for us. Just yesterday, I got an email from someone in the United States who says he's heard about this video launching. He wants to link up with us. He's got about 400 continuing education courses online, and they're free. All our students should just register for these courses. So we've now got a new door. Professor Mokel's demonstration illustrates the point about the people. I was going to use the word pits onder water, but it's maybe kaps onder water. But someone in pits onder water who has a difficulty or who has a problem with the diagnosis, he or she has the opportunity to just get that person on video and to link up with the expertise here, and we can assist them. So there's going to be many, many spin-offs from this thing. I think it's money well invested. Thank you very much to both Dr. Patel and Prof. Levak for pursuing this idea, and we can just go forward from here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And just to end off, we have a finger lunch, and it's served in the room. Just as you exit the room, straight across, there's a finger lunch, and everybody's welcome. Thank you very much for everybody that attended today. And yeah, that's a wrap, folks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, comes to an end.